Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If it wasn't for Craig coming on today to preview Bournemouth, I think there'd be a completely different stream. And I've already warned Craig that he's going to face the brunt of the latest players that have been linked to our club. But we'll get on to that in a bit, guys. I know a lot of you guys are going to be here to talk about transfers, but we are here to talk about the Bournemouth game, which is why we have brought on Craig from UT. Craig, do you want to say how you say it? Because I don't know if you actually
Yeah, of
pronounce it.
course.
Go on.
It's UTCIAD, up the cherries in all departments. It's a
There we go.
it's a saying that's been going around the club for years and years and years and years. Nobody else knows what it is. We've had it compared to all sorts. So yeah, go for it.
Perfect. Yeah, and there's a link to the channel in the description, I believe. If it's not, I'll make sure that's sorted out straight away. So go check the guys out. When I was looking for Bournemouth people to come on here, you were one of the first ones I saw. I thought, you know what, yeah, we'll get them on. So massive appreciation for coming on, mate.
No, thank
And
you.
once again, we are joined by Shigsy Boy. How are we, mate? You good?
I'm good, man. That therapy session that we had on Friday helped
We're
a
going to
lot.
need another one, I think.
Yeah. No, well, that's all right. It's all right. I feel better now.
Are you sure? Have you seen today's news?
What? No. What's
Liverpool
happened?
are going to bid for 30-year-old Japanese player Endo from Stuttgart. There we go. Shakes, just hold it in because we've got a game to preview. We'll get to it in a bit. But guys, make sure, as always, I gotta mute Shakes because he's just gonna start laughing. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The Shiggs has lost it. He's gone. And yeah, it really helps us out, especially the likes, because the likes is like an algorithm thing on YouTube. The more you guys like the videos and streams, the more it pushes our streams out to other people. Also, check out our channel sponsor, yourfootcard.com, and use TAT Pod at checkout. You can get Ultimate Team cards, you can get player art, illustrations, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, show the guys some love. They've been amazing for us. Before we get into it, let's get into some comments real quick. Hello, Reds. How are you, mate? Luke says, Endo. I wouldn't be that excited. I really don't want to butcher your name, mate, but Ad Shraj says, we are in trouble, boys. Big up from Anfield lads. Who is Endo? Good question. Hope it's depth, otherwise we are effed. We're a joke. Endo is the Japanese Busquets. Wait on him. Endo is 30 and the guy's never played European footy. Now I want Amrabat. All you guys, we're talking about transfers. We will get onto that fairly quickly as well, because the first segment of the show is about transfers. We're going to go straight to Craig, to be honest, because we want to hear from you. Me and Shigs and all these other guys that have been on the channel, Mike and Elliot, everyone, we've spoken about the same people all summer long. And I just said to you off air, Craig, you guys have actually spent more money than us so far this window, which is mental, considering we were supposed to have this amazing rebuild. You know, Jude Bellingham, we lost out on him. Oh, don't worry, we're going to have that cash to inject elsewhere. And so far, we've signed 2 players, but you guys have signed, from what I can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and spent about 60 million, mate. So, how are you, mate, feeling about that transfer though so far?
To be honest, I think it might even be more than that. I think it might even be pushing on to about 100, which is ridiculous for a football club of our size. But if you look at the transfers that we've made, apart from our backup goalkeeper Radu, they're all young players, all very good prospects. Of course, we've signed Justin Kluivert from Roma. Of course, has a very famous father, Patrick. You know, if he scores as many goals as him, we're on to a winner. You know, very, very talented. He's a very different player to his father, the left winger, but, you know, looks very, very good. One player to look out for is Milos Kerkez. Now, he's only 19 years old, and he's incredibly quick, incredibly skillful, you know, likes to cut in, does like to attack. And we didn't win a single penalty last season. I'm sure that man is going to win us a couple this year at the very, very least, because in the Lorient friendly, one of their players bought him out down just outside the box. So he is a really good prospect. Max Aarons, he's signed from Norwich City.
Good player.
Yeah, very, very good player, very talented. We needed a right back. Adam Smith was our first choice right back. Of course, Adam Smith is the wrong side of 30 now, and he's slowed down a considerable amount. Against Brighton last year, Matoma had him in his pocket, so that was one area. But Adam Smith, don't get me wrong, is an excellent backup. Of course, Ryan Fredericks is also plays there, but he's very injury prone. So Max Aarons, you've got to say, is going to be the number one right back. Hamid Traore was on loan last season. He actually, against Man City, he caused them loads of problems. Now, I know that we got beat quite heavily last season against Man City on both occasions, but he did have that threat really to his bow. So he's a really exciting player. And then Alex Scott, the player that everybody really wanted, he's actually coming from Bristol City. I believe it's 20 million plus 5 million in add-ons. So
who linked with him as well at one point?
Yeah, he's a quality talent. He's injured at the moment, but it shows because Bournemouth have got this very strict injury policy. If they're injured in the medical, we don't normally sign them. Where there was I can't remember what his name is now, but there was a player we turned down during this summer. And to be honest, I would rather have we'd just bypassed it and got in for him. Nicholas Jackson, who's now at Chelsea. He was actually on his way, agreed all terms, and the medical failed. But it's a really exciting time. And then, like I say, Radu, he's a backup goalkeeper to Neto, but I think he will push him. Neto's a quality goalkeeper. I can't see him dislodging him. But if there is an injury, why not? I think Darren Randolph is probably consigned to third choice goalkeeper, which is a little bit unfair on him. But
do you want Adrian by any chance?
Well, no, probably not.
And that says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think, to be perfectly honest, our squad are looking very, very good. And what I think we probably need, in the remaining transfer window, and I think it's already, the wheels are in motion. Tyler Adams from Leeds United as a central defensive midfielder. Lewis Cook can do a job there, but it's not his natural position. I think Justin Kluivert could probably do that. Marcos Senesi can move forwards out of defence. Unfortunately, he's injured as well now at the moment. But I think, that makes perfect sense considering Jefferson Lerma, who is probably kicking himself a little bit because I think he jumped the gun. Although, well, you could look at it in two ways. He's playing alongside Eze and Michael Lise, who are two of the hottest prospects at the moment, I think, in the Premier League.
Lise probably not for much longer at Palace, so
Well, exactly. That's what I think. I think he's probably going to the crookedness of Chelsea. And they're probably going to pay over a 10-year period for him again. I don't know how they get away with it, but I think he's probably going to go there. But all in all, our transfer business has been excellent. Probably still need something up front, though, I think.
Yeah, of course. And we'll get on to your striker that you do have in a little while, because obviously we know about him very well.
Yes.
So we'll get on to him. But Shigs, just coming to you, and I've already warned Craig is just going to have to sit back and probably enjoy this section, to be fair. But yeah, I put that news to you. Just I assume that you hadn't heard it when you didn't really give me a reaction about Endo. Look, how was that?
Wait.
No, hang on, Shigs. Let me just say this real quick to you. Shigs, I have to say this, right? I'm all for giving players a chance. Like, I will never write a player off. You get these content creators that they set an agenda.
Don't be
before.
PC.
Hang on. Before a player has signed for the club, right? You get these content creators that form an agenda, and then their mind won't be changed. Shigs, just let me finish. And then okay, fine. I'm not like that. I don't want Endo. I don't want Amrabat. And thankfully, Lynch has come out and said Amrabat isn't going to happen. I don't want Endo. I don't want Amrabat. But like I said to you just then, Shigs, you get these people that come on here, they set an agenda, and their mind will never be changed. My mind doesn't run like that. My mind says to me, Shigs, if a player signs for Liverpool, okay, I might not agree with it at the time. There's other players that I want for sure. Endo, 30-year-old from Stuttgart, he's not on my top 500 to 1,000 players. However, if he did sign and he signed for a reason, I can only judge off what he does in a Liverpool shirt because I don't watch Stuttgart.
Let me ask you this. So, is he his first team player for Stuttgart, or what is he?
Yeah, the main player.
He's a main player. And he's a DM.
I think he's just a centre mid, to be honest. I don't know if he's an actual DM. I don't know much about the bloke, mate. It's hard to talk about this guy. Guys in the chat, if you know any insight, or Craig, if you know anything about Endo, let us know, please, because I'm really.
We are in the mud. We are in the mud.
He's a DM.
Endo, bro. I've never heard of this guy in my life, bro. I've never heard of this guy.
I've heard of him. I just never thought Liverpool would be signing him.
He's going to be a first team starter, yeah?
The thing is, though, this is surely going to happen.
Wait. Is it a loan or they're buying him?
Permanent. Straight up permanent.
We're finished. We're finished.
Go on, Craig.
The thing is, you know, what I completely understand your frustrations with this, because you look at ourselves, for example, and what we have done in this transfer market. Now, we are a lot smaller club than Liverpool. You know, I know that the ground doesn't make a team, but at the same time, Liverpool should have more pulling power with the history and everything. And the players we've signed, you know, are it's fantastic work by Richard Hughes and Neil Blake. But I'm sure if you offered, say, for example, Alex Scott, the opportunity, a young up-and-coming player, and said, right, okay, you either go to Bournemouth or you go to Liverpool. I'm not going to kid myself. We know where he's going to go. Yep. We know where he's going to go. And this is what Liverpool was so good at, was actually bringing in youngsters and getting them up to a level. Like, and there's some of the transfer activity in the past, has been excellent. Virgil van Dijk, for example, Firmino, Coutinho, all those sort of players, quality players that they signed, Mo Salah, all these quality players that they signed, probably on a different level to what Bournemouth operate in, but at the same time, that seems to have all gone. Alexis McAllister is a very, very good signing. I can't pronounce the name of the other guy that you've. Yeah, that's it. He looks good talent, but really, you've got to ask what's going on behind the scenes. It's not Klopp's fault. I think it's got to be.
No. I'm sorry. It is Klopp's fault. He has to come out and say, I don't want that player. He has to.
Well, if he wants him,
then we're in bigger problems than before. Because there's no. I'm sorry. I've been laughing and stuff, but this is a joke now. Nah. This is a joke. Like at the end of the day, bro. Like, it's like we got rid of Fabinho and Henderson because we needed legs. This guy's come from a Bundesliga, bro. Bundesliga, their level of football is nowhere near compared to the level of a regular Premiership game. And you want to bring... Nah, Klopp has got a lot to answer for.
The thing is, though, Shix, right? I'm not trying to sugarcoat this signing. I need to make that clear. I don't know about him. He's not...
But wait, let me just ask, Ben. How far along is it? Is it this talk or is it?
We're putting the bidding, and he'll obviously want to come. So, in fact, you know what? Let me get up the tweet from Romano first of all, and then we'll come back just to inform the guys exactly what he said. Okay, and then we'll get back to talking about the game because the game's more important to me than this. I can't lie. Here we are. Exclusive. Liverpool submit formal bid to sign Japanese midfielder Wataru Endo on permanent deal. Negotiations ongoing with Stuttgart. The player wants to move as it's the biggest opportunity of his career. Surprising move by Liverpool director Schmadtke. And
Ah,
there we are,
this guy,
Sheiks.
this
Even
guy's a
Fabricio,
fraud.
even Fabricio, they're like surprised by the news that he's reporting.
Like this Schmatzer guy's a fraud. And you know why I'm getting on Klopp? Because that's his boy. When Michael Edwards and Ward were in charge, there was none of this foolishness. None of it. And Klopp, no, hold on. And Klopp asked for. See, this is where the problem lies when managers ask for more control of the club, because then they start doing foolishness like this. Could you honestly say to me, if Edwards was still in charge or Ward was in charge, we'd have the summer that we're having? Could you honestly say that we would?
What about this comment though, Sheiks?
Rotation players. We don't need rotation players.
No,
we need.
Listen, I remember Klopp saying a while back that we need somebody to replace James Milner and do the James Milner role. What if that's literally the reason why it's been brought in?
But that's not the most pressing matter at the moment. We don't have a DM.
We could be doing two things at once. We've seen the core links.
This club is showing that they can't do two things at once.
I'm going to put my neck on the line, and time is going rapidly, so we do need to move on from transfers. But I am 99.9% confident that if we sign Endo, that is not it for midfielders. It can't be. And if that is, then the owners deserve every bit of criticism they get. Klopp does, Schmadtke does, they all do, because that is no, I don't care. Look, let me just get these stats up. Real quick, right?
Sorry, Craig. It's a bit of a meltdown at the moment, but it's just
that's fair enough.
They couldn't have timed this any worse, to be honest.
I'm just looking at Stuttgart's, past couple of seasons in the Bundesliga, and they've not done particularly very well. I would say that there's got to be a lot younger player with a lot more prospects, a player that can grow under the Liverpool coaching team and Jurgen Klopp than this guy.
That's it. This is what I'm saying. This is going to surely be the squad option. You know, the guy that comes in for the Europa League game, Sheiks. This is not going to be. If he's the DM, he's not going to be the starting DM.
That's fair enough. But how short-sighted is that? You're going to get 2 seasons out of him maximum, if you're lucky.
Yeah, but if it's less than 10 mil, then.
Oh nah, man. This team is this whole. I hope to God when they interview Klopp, they hold his feet to the fire. They won't, but I hope.
But what if this is what I'm saying? What if there's a player that he wants? Like, what's he gonna say then? Like,
even more so, they should hold his feet to the fire.
Let's look at this. Let's tweet from Squawker, and then we'll come back to it. Yeah. Endo versus Bundesliga midfielder since the start of 2021. Most possession won in defensive third, 254. Most aerial duels won. Most clearances, most headed clearances. Second most touches. Second most passes completed. Second most possession won in the final third. And second most tackles.
Bro, he's older than Fabinho. And we just got
David Ornstein tweeted. Bear with me.
I'm sorry, this is a joke.
Has Ornstein tweeted, guys? Because
It's a joke.
Wait, is it here we go? I'm really sorry, Craig. We are going to.
No, that's all right, mate. No problem at all.
He's not here we go confirmed. David Ornstein, has he tweeted? Let me have a look at this. Oh, come on. Liverpool closing in on signing Stuttgart defensive midfielder Wataru Endo. They wanted to renew contracts, but Liverpool in advance talk. Yeah, this is happening.
We are the laughing stuff of the league.
But Sheiks, what if, like I say to you, this is why I don't want to be too over.
There's no way you can sell this.
No.
No way.
There is a way this can be positive.
There's not.
Hang on, Sheiks. If we go and sign like a Decore or somebody like that, and I'm still not saying that's like a 10 out of 10 because we want the Caicedo, we want the Lavia. So it's already a step down from those two. But if we get him and another, the only reason I will really start to fume and truly melt down over this is if he's the only one. And nobody can tell me that's acceptable if he's the only one.
But okay, and what's the fee? 15? How much is it? 15 mil?
I don't know yet. They've not said anything about the fee, I don't believe. But it won't be more than 10 million. It surely won't.
If it is, they've ripped Liverpool off.
That's 30 years old.
This is he's 30. This is what I can't get over. We got rid of Fabinho, who was younger than this guy. We got and I didn't mind them getting rid of Fabinho because he didn't have the greatest of seasons, and I thought maybe it's, but we're going to be going backwards.
Can I just say, by the way, Barca for Life has said Ben doesn't even know this guy. Do you? Do you watch Stuttgart games? Does anybody here watch Stuttgart games? Listen. So hang on a sec. It's okay for everyone to write him off and say how bad he is and how crap he is, which I have not said I'm happy about this transfer. But as soon as you try and say, okay, maybe there's a reason why he's coming in, or maybe he's one of two coming in, apart, you get accused of not knowing this guy. But it's okay for people that have never watched him.
No, Ben. Let me just say this. It's not about whether he's I've never heard of him and I've never seen him play. Yeah, and I make no bones about it. But the angle I'm coming from is that he's not gonna help us take our team to another level. Even if you had him as another body.
Why?
Because he's been when a player gets to the age of 30, bro, they're on the way down, not up. Let's be honest. That's what I'm saying. Okay, I'm gonna ask you, and again we're gonna go into the Bournemouth thing. Name me a player over the age of 30 in the Prem that you think, yeah, I'd happily take him in our team.
Over 30?
Yeah, that is on an upward trajectory.
There's loads. If you have enough time to think about
one.
Harold's Rodri? Is he not 30 yet?
No, he's 29.
Oh, he's 27.
Yeah, bro, come on, Nate. And the reason why I asked that, bro, is not to have a dig at Endo. That's not the aim. My aim is my point is this: we are trying to get back into the Champions League. We are trying to elevate ourselves to become a team that challenges for the league. I'm sorry, Endo is not better than Henderson. Endo is not better than Fabinho. So
does he have to be if another DM's coming in? That's what I'm saying.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Of course he has to be, because that's the level where we sunk to. And that guy is not even that guy's not even reaching that.
How do we know this guy's not better than James Moore or Jordan Henderson?
Stuttgart, bro. Stuttgart.
Have you seen Henderson play football for the last 2 years?
Yeah, I did, bro.
And I love Henderson.
I'm gonna by that same argument, did you see Endo play any type of football before he's been mentioned?
That's why I can't.
Exactly.
That's why I can't.
Even that's my point. Even though we Henderson weren't great, at no point did anybody say, you know what? Let me pull up the YouTube highlights of Endo from Stuttgart.
Has anybody ever watched YouTube highlights of Jordan Henderson?
Bro, when we were
Craig, have you ever done that?
Caicedo and Lavia, how many YouTube things did you see on there?
Yeah, but Craig, have you ever watched a Jordan Henderson compilation?
No, not really. I did watch Nicholas Jackson when we was
from
Chelsea, but you're
telling me you never saw a Lavia compilation, or you never saw a Caicedo compilation?
There is Endo compilations. I think.
Yeah, it probably is. There probably is. But at the end of the day, I've not gone and searched them out.
The bottom line on this is, just because I really want us to move on from this now, we'll do a whole separate stream on this, Shigs.
I love these conversations, Ben.
Yeah, listen, the bottom line is, right, and this is my stance on it. If Endo is the only DM signing we make, I will be the first to load up a stream. I'll get Connor to make the thumbnail, and I'll be screaming and shouting.
I'll be right there beside you, bro.
If it's Endo plus somebody like Decore or someone even better, which we don't know yet, then I think it's absolutely sound. As long as he's not playing week in, week out, or I don't know. I still need to learn more about him, but it's still too early. We could be working on 2 players right now because of the whole Caicedo and Lavia thing. There is no way anybody, no matter what you think of the new director, what you think of Klopp, what you think of the owners, that even they, after disappointing the fans for this long, would think that this is acceptable. There is no way. There's no way. That's the bottom line.
Can I ask Craig one question?
Go for it.
And this is about Bournemouth. And because were you a little bit disappointed? And I know we're pivoting. We're going to pivot in totally, but were you disappointed with the way Bournemouth treated O'Neill?
To be honest, I was a massive Gary O'Neill fan. I was a big Gary O'Neill fan. I felt, after that game up at Anfield, we'll probably go into that. That 9-0, I was there, unfortunately.
Was it him in charge of that game?
No, it was Scott Parker.
Yeah,
I went on Radio 5 Live afterwards, and I spoke to Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage, and they said, "Oh yeah, but Scott Parker got you up." And I said, "No, he's got to go." Because before the Aston Villa game, he turned around and he said, "Look, I need reinforcements for my squad." Now, we didn't know at that point that Maxim Denim was trying to sell the club, and then Bill Foley was going to come in. But Maxim got Marco Senesi for Scott Parker. And to be fair, the first game against Aston Villa, wasn't bad at all. Then we went to Man City. That wasn't a bad one. It was the Arsenal game where the wheels fell off. Like, it was 2-0 down in the first 10 minutes, ended up losing 3-0, which wasn't awful. I think Scott Parker realised, and okay, my mistake. And then against Liverpool, he's gone and made the same bloody mistake again. So what he's done is he's gone and sat right back, and you can't do that against a team like Liverpool. You can't allow, the players to just be passing in front of you, picking you off at will, and then to come out when you've got the likes of Jordan Zamora. I know he's not here anymore. I was a bit gutted about that, how that all unfolded. Jaden Anthony,
what
all these youngsters.
He's a very scary player.
He's a good player. He's a very, very talented player. But I think we've got so much abundance now in midfield that, we have to pinch ourselves, really. But, you can't turn around and say, with those youngsters in that team, that they're not good enough. We expect more games like that. He had to go. Scott Parker had to go. And Gary O'Neill, some Bournemouth fans are ridiculous. And they turn around and say, "Oh yeah, but Gary O'Neill, he's a boring manager."
Anything but.
I tell you what, I thought he was good. I think there was games last season.
Should have beat Wolves, United as well on Monday.
Yeah, they played well.
Yeah, he should have. The thing is there was games where it was boring to watch, but you could turn around and say, the game against Arsenal for parts of that game was boring. But we nearly got a result at Arsenal.
Yeah.
There's all these fans that are expecting too much. The Southampton away, oh yeah, that's all on Gary. It's not all on Gary. When we nearly could. Well, Che Adams had it in the back of our net, and it was ruled off fairly for offside.
It's not all on the manager.
You can't turn around and say, Gary O'Neill did what he did with the squad he had.
Kept you up.
He did. And I thought he did a very, very good job. He's got such a good future in the game. Yes, he made mistakes early on. Spurs at home, we was 2-0 up. We lost 3-2. Leeds away, 3-1
But didn't
up.
he turn that around when you went to Spurs? Didn't you beat Spurs?
We did beat Spurs. Yeah, we did beat Spurs away from home. But, he learned, from those mistakes. And he went, okay, defending back too deep, our defence isn't good enough. It was quite clear our defence was not good enough last season. So what we'll do is we'll attack. We'll try and break away as well as soon as we win the ball back. It was good, the players that he brought in, the club brought in. I think a lot of those players were earmarked for Iriola. And, I think he did a tremendous job. I think he did a tremendous job. But the way I look at it with Iriola, at first I was really angry because I thought this man has gone and kept us up. He's been criticised. Some of the Bournemouth fans should be absolutely ashamed of themselves after what they put out on social media towards him.
Yeah, a lot of trash goes out on social media from all fan bases.
Honestly, it was awful. Some of the stuff, absolutely awful. And, he deserved a lot more respect than that. And I thought, we've just given in to those fans, and I thought we've signed our own relegation next season.
Well, this is what I was gonna come to, because and again, it's not me throwing pelters, but I don't know the manager, the guy that you've got in. I don't know him. I don't know him from anywhere.
I was just going to go on to that actually, because we was linked with Jesse Marsh, Frank Lampard, and I know he's a Liverpool legend, Steven Gerrard. Now, I think all three of those would be an absolute disaster. Yeah, but Iriola, I know a bit about Spanish football. I'm not going to profess to know the most, but Rayo Vallecano are a very small team. They're probably the size of Luton Town.
Okay.
In retrospect, he got wins last season against Real Madrid, Barcelona, and I think he did even beat Atletico.
Okay.
So he's got results against
Got
all
pedigree.
the big teams.
Yeah.
But he even got them at one point during the season into the Champions League places. All right, they didn't finish there, but it shows what he can do. And this is with no money. This is with no money whatsoever. So
got to think of the investment.
I think even though, it was harsh on Gary O'Neill, what the club have done and what Bill Foley's done is like, right, okay, this is a man that we're interested in. Iriola continues to impress from afar.
Okay.
Then what's happened is Iriola's contract, because Leeds did go in for him mid-season when they sacked Jesse Marsh, but he refused to go. So what's happened is his contract at Rayo Vallecano has expired, and that's when they've pounced. They've sacked Gary O'Neill and appointed Iriola pretty much.
Well, they've been decisive.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of bottle there.
Yeah, let's actually talk about his first game in charge then, Craig. I think that would be a good way to get into our game. Obviously, you beat West Ham. You drew to West Ham, 1-1.
Yeah.
Bowen scored the first goal. Solanke scored a late equaliser. Starting lineup, I'll just run it through for people that didn't watch the game. I didn't watch the game, so my first insight to the game is going to be from Craig. But I did watch the highlights earlier just to kind of see what happened. It was Neto in goal. I believe it was a 4-2-3-1 setup with Aaron's
Zabarnier.
Senesi, Kirkez, Billing, Rothwell, Brooks, Christie, Anthony, and Solanke. Just on the side note, by the way, it's absolutely wonderful to see Brooks back on the pitch.
Yeah.
From obviously, I don't want to go too deep into it because I'll probably cry, but for cancers, had a lot of impact in my family. So to see somebody beat it and come back onto the pitch, it was beautiful. So, yeah, we know, like I said to you before, we know Solanke very well. We'll be getting on to him. But talk us through the goals, first of all. I think that's the best way to talk about this game. Bowen obviously loses. Lerma loses the ball, Susek gives it to Bowen, who strikes it into the top left of the goal. And then 82 minutes, Semenyo shoots and it deflects Susek to Solanke, who still has a lot to do. He has to round the keeper and slot it home. It was just great composure. So talk about it, mate. Let's go through the game. How was because obviously on Match of the Day and highlights, you get a 10-minute snippet, but what was the overall feeling? What were the goals like for you? Yeah.
I think, the first half was very, very drab from both sides. We was trying to do things. West Ham were trying to do things back to us. It pretty much cancelled itself out, but we were the better side going into the halftime break. The second half, of course, it was Joe Rothwell who made the mistake, which then led to the goal. Fantastic strike by Bowen. You can't stop that. You can't blame that on Neto. Rothwell is normally quite dependable. He's a very, very talented player, great passer of the ball, and in fact, he nearly made amends because he struck the crossbar midway through the second half with a fantastic strike. Got it onto his left boot, and then it kind of swerved. I thought it was going in, hit the crossbar instead. So unfortunate. But with regards to the goal, it was a Solanke goal. Solanke doesn't score goals that are, exquisite. You wouldn't expect Solanke to score, a screamer. What you would expect Solanke to do is pop up at the right time. But he's not an out-and-out goal scorer. He's a bit of a weird player, to be fair, because he'll bring in other players and, assist them. Now Lerma's gone. Lerma was one of his outlets. I think a lot of it is going to rest on Phil Bill, or Philip, as we should call him now. For some reason, he's gone from Billing on the back of his shirt to Philip. But I think, if there was only if that game went on for an extra 5 minutes, I think there was only one winner, and it would have been ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. And Shigs, I know you tried to do a match reaction until it all went horribly wrong with the technology. So if you watch that stream, then we do apologize. It won't happen again. But I was at the game. I was lucky enough to be in that away end at the bridge. We'll just briefly summarize it because, like I say, we have already spoken about it. Positives and negatives, Shigs. First 45 minutes was good. Second 45 minutes was crap.
Hit the nail on the head. But nothing more to say. Simple as that. It was.
Move on to the next point.
Yeah, all I'll just add to that is it like we looked like we were ran out of steam when it got to like 65, 70 minutes.
Yeah. So Boslai's literally, I thought, oh my, this guy's gonna pass out any moment. The amount of running that lad did in that game was insane. His work rate is nuts.
Ridiculous.
Absolute nuts. And I think that's something that's caught a lot of us by surprise. When he signed, everyone thought he was going to be like this playmaker creativity, which he does have, of course. But he's an engine, man.
He's a hard worker as well. And hopefully Jota won't be playing, so he won't be nicking the ball off him when he wants to take a strike. So
we'll get on to lineups in a little moment. Yeah, we'll get on to lineups. But yeah, I think there's nothing more to say. Salah had a bit of a hot and cold game.
Can I ask you, Ben, just quickly? Was you upset with him being taken off?
Not at all.
Because I wasn't.
Not at all. Not at all. He didn't do anything for half an hour.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Neither did that.
I get it's not always his fault, like, if he's not getting the ball, but I just felt like they needed to make changes because the intensity we'd seen from the first half, the press had completely gone.
Did you see what Ben Doak done?
Exactly what I'm about to say. As soon as Doak and Elliott came on, and I think Jones came on a bit before that, he got it back instantly. So, and Nunes was quite, I thought Nunes was lively as well. But yeah, I wasn't mad at the subs at all. If you're not doing your job, you get pulled. And I think the reaction just on that, I don't blame Mo Salah for that because he's a serial goal scorer. He wants to win every game of football he plays in. It's his old club. He's got that record in the back of his mind. Of course, he's going to be fuming. But I think some people took it too far. He might get a slap on the wrist from Klopp. They'll probably have a chat about it, and he'll be starting against Bournemouth. That's the bottom line. You're on mute now, Shig, so I'll do it. Sorry, you didn't. Sorry, I've got it.
No. I'm happy with, not happy with the dissent, but I can understand why.
Shows he cares, doesn't it?
Yeah, but sometimes you got the manager has to save you from yourself.
And Klopp even said if Salah came off the pitch and was happy, then he'd be like, what's going on?
So hopefully, so don't take it the wrong way, Craig, but hopefully he takes it out on Bournemouth.
I hope not.
Yeah.
You've done enough damage last season.
He is my FPL captain this week. I've taken it from Saka, and it is now Mohamed Salah who's my captain. Still yet to captain Haaland. Will that come back to bite me? I don't know. But I want to be different, man. I don't want to copy everyone else.
All right, listen, anyway. You got to stay with the pack, bro.
Mate, Salah to Bournemouth at home, you'd expect him to get at least a goal.
All I'm saying is, when Luton play Man City at the Etihad, you know I'm triple captain in Haaland.
Yeah, I think everyone's doing that, bro. Everyone's doing that. Let's get on to just briefly last season. And I know, Craig, you briefly touched on it because I think this is a good point. It was just two completely different games. We had a record-breaking win at Anfield, 9-0. That's our biggest ever Premier League victory. And I don't want to keep going on about that, Craig, but we have to discuss it. But then you got your revenge by a 1-0 win away. Well, we was away at your ground. So just on the back of those two games, are you expecting this to be anything? I mean, no one is expecting us to beat you 9-0 again, but what sort of game are you expecting this time around, mate?
I think this is going to be very, very different. I think, I've already looked in some depth with regards to, what Liverpool like and what they don't like. Now, this is an interesting point because Iraola plays a very, very pressing game, attacking from the front, putting the defence under pressure, get them to make mistakes at the back. Now, the thing is Liverpool like that style of play. So what is Iraola going to do? Now, I can't see him sitting back, although defensively we are a lot stronger than last season. That said, Senesi is out injured. And remember that Senesi's first game was against Liverpool last season. So, I think defensively, Chris Metham will come into the side. I would say that maybe what will be happening.
Sorry, Craig.
Yeah.
Sorry, Craig. I just did that. Sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right. I think personally, Iriola will probably look at that game at Dean Court and think, right, okay, how did Gary O'Neill get the result? Because I think Gary O'Neill played it just right. Yeah, it did help when Mo Salah skied it over the crossbar.
Who was the guy that scored? Who was the guy that scored for you?
Billing.
Yes, I'm sure it was Phil Bill, wasn't it?
It was Billing, yeah. It was Billing.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Will he be playing on Saturday? Because he was giving Kanata and Van Dijk problems.
Definitely.
It
was Phil Bill. He'll definitely be playing. He's a very, very tall guy, but he's very skillful.
You don't normally
Oh, he is. You don't normally have the two together, do you? You normally have shorter players, skillful, taller players, good in the air. Phil Bill, when he first got here, was absolutely atrocious in the air. It was a running joke. It was a running joke that he couldn't header the ball, even being the tallest player on the pitch. He's got better at that. But he does what a smaller player does, very, very well, probably exceptionally, which is the skill, and his link-up play with Dom Solanke is excellent. So
them two have a good rapport.
Oh yeah, they do. If you can watch one goal from last season, it wasn't the most exquisite goal that we scored. It wasn't the most special goal, but watch our first goal within about 52 seconds at Fulham.
Okay.
And
did he play against Tottenham as well?
Yes.
He would have played
that
most
game,
95% of the games, right? Unless he was injured. He would have played.
No, the only reason I bring that game up because them two they gave Tottenham a torrid time. I think it was the last minute winner that they got, but it was they had up Tottenham's defense, had them up.
That was Dongo Itara that scored that goal, and I tell you what, he won't be playing. Luckily for Liverpool, because he's a very, very good player. He's a Burkina Faso international, and very, very fast. There was a lot of suspicion over the signing of Dongo Itara. It's spelled Dango Watara. Dongo Watara is how it's pronounced, but it's spelled Dango. Dango on his shirt. But he actually was at Lorient beforehand, and Bill Foley owns part of Lorient, so there was a lot of suspicion, a lot of anger from the Lorient fans towards that one. But he's a quality player.
Insider trading, yeah.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, a little story, a little bit of insider information. He had a boot on against West Ham. He was sat in the crowd a couple of seats away from me. So, nice bloke, but unfortunately, doesn't look like he's going to be back anytime soon.
Interesting. Shigs, coming to you, mate, just because we need to wrap up talking about the games, then we'll do predicted lineups to sort of conclude and what sort of game we think is going to be. And a bold score prediction as well, by the way. So it'll be interesting what Craig says. We're just... And sorry to bring this up again, Craig. We're just hoping for more of the same from last season, aren't we, mate? I mean, a draw at Stamford Bridge, if you look in 4 or 5 months' time, it may not look like the worst result in the world. But now we need to really get our season off and going because we've got Newcastle away the week after. We can't afford anything but a win.
We need to. Well, you know what it is? We don't even need to. We just need to carry on that first 35 minutes at Chelsea, because that first like 40 minutes or 35 minutes, that was how we'd been playing in pre-season.
I thought we was gonna score 2-3 in that time.
And you know what? When they say the games are fine margins, if Salah is not offside, I think it's a different game.
I agree.
So there's not really much.
Hits the bar as well.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. For me, there's not a lot that needs to change. They just need to continue what they were doing. And I hope over this last week that they've worked on the fitness, because if our fitness has been up to a par in the second half, I think we could have gone on and beat Chelsea. So it'll be interesting to see, and it'll be interesting to see how far along our endurance has come. So hopefully it gets to the point where it's 80, 85 minutes, and by that time, if the drop off does come, then we're out of sight where it doesn't come back to bite us like a knife. I'm not even gonna say that.
That comes with playing, though, doesn't it? Like fitness and sharpness.
Yeah,
the more they play, the more that
just
will
getting
come,
used to them playing again. So I'm
dusting
hoping
off the cobwebs, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, more of the same against Chelsea in the first half. Please God, no, not basically making sure that the defense is not flat-footed when a ball gets played in the corner and then played back in. People need to be on their toes and be alert. So yeah, that's what we need to do basically.
Yeah, I mean, Jaden Anthony, if that line is, if we get that wrong, he is quick and he will look to play in those spaces. So we have to make sure it's spot on. Let's go with predicted lineups then. Craig, is yours going to be the same? You making changes? If you're the manager, what are you doing, mate?
I think most of it is going to be the same. So Neto in goal, Kirkes on the left. Senesi, of course, is out for this game unless he's made a miraculous recovery. He did limp off against West Ham halfway through. So I think Chris Meffam will come in to the side and link up with Zabanier, with Aaron's on the right-hand side. I think Rothwell and Billing just in front of them. And then I think Jaden Anthony. I know that you did mention him. Now I think we might start with Clivert in this game.
Interesting.
I think we might start with Clivert.
Hearing that name, man, it just brings back Ajax days.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully he can start doing what his dad did. So yeah, I think. If it was me, I would bring Clivert in for Anthony on the bench, but maybe as an impact. Ryan Christie, just stick him where he is, keep him where he was, I should say, for the West Ham game. David Brooks. Do you know what? I didn't think Brooks was going to start against West Ham because, of course, he's been through so much and he's worked tirelessly to get himself back from that, because I saw David Brooks last season when he was actually in part of his recovery stage, training and recovering and working himself. In fact, the day he got the all clear was the day we was promoted against Nottingham Forest. So yeah, it was quite a special day, that one. But that's when I saw him, he did. He looked like he was fit, healthy at that time. But it did seem like it might still be some way off to actually get himself playing competitively in this league. Yeah, if he was a champion in the Championship, maybe he could have been brought in a little bit earlier. That's nothing against him. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. But, he's done incredibly well. I think he would start, and he was very good against West Ham. And I think Dom up front.
He's scary.
Well, I think he brings other players into the game as well. So Rothwell is an exceptional passer of the ball. Clivert, incredibly skillful, very knowledgeable, seems to always be in the right place. So I think, the midfield is awash with talent. You think we've still got Ouattara to come back. We've still got Hamid Traore in there. We're meant to be after Tyler Adams, which might give us a different dimension as well. Alex Scott, of course, is injured at the moment, so he's going to come into that fold. Our midfield is excellent, and I think that's our key strength. So all these players in there at the moment are playing for their places in this squad, and I think they're all doing very, very well with it. There's no reason, if we didn't sign Tyler Adams, that Marcos Senesi couldn't play in a little bit more advanced role, consider if Meffam keeps up his decent form. But Chris Meffam, I said this at the start of last season. I didn't think he was up to the Premier League standard. He proved me wrong last season. I'm going to say it again this season. And hopefully he'll prove me wrong again. So
we needed to prove you right, mate. We need to prove you right.
Yeah. No. Well, to be honest, after that Liverpool game, it didn't look like all 11 of them really knew what was really going on. But then again, I'm not the manager, and Scott Parker shouldn't have been saying that to their faces. He should have been picking them up. Heavy loss, but he should have turned around and said, "Look, that one's on me, lads. I've made a mistake."
Go again.
To be fair, right, and I know this might sound mad because 9-0 doesn't happen very often at all, once in a lifetime sort of thing. But that could have been any team on that day, mate. Like it could have been any of the bottom 3 or bottom 5.
I disagree with that.
Do you actually disagree with that?
I disagree because we sat back way too far. And to be honest, Gary O'Neill did this again in the Tottenham defeat and also the Leeds defeat. We sat back way too far, allowed them to pile pressure on when we was ahead, and of course,
I get that, but I just feel like everything we hit on that day went in, and that doesn't always happen. Like we've battered teams like that before and only won 2-3-0. You know what I mean? But on this day, everything we struck just seemed to go in. So yeah, it's not going to happen again.
No.
What is your score prediction, though, Craig? Just before we move on to our side,
I'm going to go with a 1-1.
A 1-1. Interesting. Yeah. Another 1-1. That would be a disaster for us. It really would. Shigs, I want to hear your predicted lineup and score at the end, and then I'll do mine.
Okay, so Adrian in goal.
Oh my lord!
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. So, Alisson, Robbo, Verge, Canate, Trent, Jones.
Endo.
Nah, not yet. He needs a couple of games. He needs a couple of games to fit into the system. Don't push it. Don't put him in straight away. Jones, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gakpo, Diaz, Salah.
Mine's the same, but I'm having Darwin in this game.
Oh, instead of Gakpo?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm not mad at it.
I'm not sure because I love Gakpo, but I just feel like Darwin needs a game, and I think this could be a game for him to get his season up and running. I know Gakpo, he had to take one for the team and play centre mid, which again is not his.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to give him the starting role because I think he would do a job there, and he played good against. Go on.
Yeah. No, you go.
No, I think, and as well in the game we lost at Bournemouth, he was probably one of the standout players for the game, getting the ball, turning, running at players. I think the reason why I said I put Nunes, to start later because Nunes brings chaos, and you need that when the game is not going your way. Hopefully the game will be going away, but I don't think you need to start off with that because you don't have I don't think we have the same energy for someone like a Jota or Gakpo coming off the bench. They won't bring that same energy. So rather than him starting, maybe another game, but for this game, I want Gakpo to start because I think he tried to do a job against Chelsea, and I think this is where the game where he would stand out even more.
Again, I don't really mind either way. I think I've said this so many times on this podcast that any front three, as long as Mo Salah's in it, I'm happy with. You can go Diaz, you can go Jota.
We're in that particular area. We're blessed up front. We can't.
I don't really have a preference.
I think we've got probably one of the best attacks in the league, but it is
a complete and utter headache, isn't it, for the manager at the minute? Like Jota didn't really take his chance on Sunday, so I wouldn't be surprised if he
nicking other people's chances.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised and he also went down, didn't he, for a bit? So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else comes in. But listen, we've got an amazing forward line. My team is pretty much exactly the same. Maybe just change one of their forwards. I don't know who, but yeah. What's your score prediction, Shigs?
My heart says 3-1, but my head says 2-1. I was
going to say 3-1. Scores?
It's gonna be nail bite. It's gonna be those nail biting last 20 minutes. Was it last 10 minutes when they put the board up and they say 7 minutes left? Like,
who's your scorers?
I'm gonna go 2-1. I'm gonna say Salah to get off the mark and Gakpo.
Gakpo. Okay, I'm saying 3.
And I think Phil Bill will get one for them.
Who? No, it's Solanke, bro. Solanke, Cop End is.
Oh, it's written in the stars, yeah?
Yeah. So I'm saying
Cop End?
Solanke. Yeah. And then for us, I'm gonna say I feel a Dom Soboslai first goal for Liverpool on Sunday. Saturday.
A screamer.
I just feel like he's gonna score. I don't know how. Maybe a smash, maybe a set piece, but I think we will see Dom Soboslai's first goal on Sunday. Why do I keep saying Sunday on Saturday?
I'm not mad at it. Is it a 3 o'clock kickoff?
Yeah, it's a 3 o'clock, so it's
I'm gonna have to get the BT stream.
Yeah, it's sources. That's all we'll say. I don't want to say too much. But you've got to find your ways to watch this one. Breaking news from David Ornstein: Stuttgart expected to receive 19 million euros.
It was going so well, Ben. Why did you break that right now, bro? Why? There's no need. Everything was going swimmingly, bro. Swimmingly.
Right, guys. We will wrap up there. Nah, listen, we're going back. I'm literally talking to Connor, who designs all the thumbnails right now, to see if we can get an Endo one done for tomorrow.
No. We don't need to do that.
What's that? Because if he's probably gonna, if this is happening, he'll probably sign tomorrow. So we're gonna come live. We're gonna talk about it. Shig, if you're about, obviously,
do we have to
jump on it. I didn't give my other two scores, by the way. So Boslai, Salah, and I'm gonna go with. No, I'm gonna go some rogue. Harvey Elliott from the bench.
Ah, nice. Or Cheeky Jones tapping.
Yeah, something like that anyway. But before we go, Craig, do you want to just shout out where people can find you on Twitter, on YouTube?
Yeah, of course, no problem. So the handle for all of our social media is just beneath me, UTCIAD AFCB. So yeah, you can find us on YouTube. Harry Redknapp did a season preview with us. Harry's been on there about 7 times, I think now. You might have to count those. But yeah, it's the number one source for all things Bournemouth. Loads of player interviews, and you can find out a bit more about our history because, to be honest, it's been a very, very well. To be honest, what you see now is the glory years of AFC Bournemouth. Never used to be like that. It used to be -17, scrapping to stay in the Football League. The bailiffs at the door taking all the stock out the club shop. It used to be a bloody disaster. But yeah, do go and check it out. Check it out. Check out the videos with the former chairman, Trevor Watkins, Eddie Mitchell. Because I tell you what, it's a bit of an eye opener.
Perfect. Yeah, guys, make sure you check it out. And Shigs, of course, they know where to find you on the Ball TV.
Football with Shigs on YouTube and at Shigsy DJ on Twitter. You can see me spouting a lot of fury right about now, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all good bands.
Yeah, and like I say, guys, when this signing is made official, because we've jinxed things in the past. I don't want to expose ourselves, but we had a
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, Ben. I'm gonna jinx it.
Okay, yeah, fine. This is gonna happen. I'll get the thumbnail ready. But we had a Lavia thumbnail ready. We had a Caicedo thumbnail ready, and I will never ever disclose those images to the general public ever.
Connor, get that thumbnail ready with Endo like this on the screen.
Listen, if that happens tomorrow, we'll go live. Whenever it happens, we'll go live. We'll be back on Saturday evening for the match reaction as well, so make sure you tune into that. Smash the like button, subscribe, check out our sponsor yourfootcard.com, and we'll see you next time. Take care.